Now, Mark, you see the referee going over the rules, going over the pat downs. This match was not just huge for these two men; it was also huge for APW.
It was huge for APW. You talk about that man right there. That man is senior official at the time, Max Marquez, one of the original referees here in All Pro Wrestling.
¿Qué hubo, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Indy Handshake, edición de Lucha Libre. I am your host, Jesus Cruz, and today I have the honor of having the great referee from APW, Max Marquez. How you doing, brother?
Fine. Jesus, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, man. It's been years since we've seen each other.
Correct. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, I met Max when I was working for APW back in 2000. I was doing some video production with them, and that's how I met Max. And we kind of hit it off. You know, we were talking about soccer. You're a big Cruz Azul fan. I was a Toros Nesa fan back then, and we just kind of clicked, man. And we became friends.
Yeah,
and,
correct.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you even get started being interested in wrestling?
Well, I've always loved wrestling as a kid, and your dream is to be a professional wrestler. You know, that's what you want to do. And one time I was watching, at that time, Monday Night Raw, and they had the commercial come on, and it was, at that time, it was Dancing Rick Thompson, Playboy Buddy Rose, and saying, do you want to be a professional wrestler? So I saw the commercial. I ran real quick to get a piece of paper and pen. By the time I came back, the commercial was gone. So I wasn't able to pick up the phone number or get the address. So I had to say, well, I have to sit again.
And this is before TiVo and DVR, so you can't even remember.
So I had to wait again for the commercial. But unfortunately, the commercial didn't come on anymore. So I go, oh my gosh, now I have to wait till next week to get it. So next week, I was ready again, and the commercial came on, and I wrote it down. I took it down, and...
What year was this?
Oh, God, this was like between 1990 or 91.
Okay. Early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s, around there, yeah.
So you scratched the number down, and then who ended up picking up the phone when you called?
Well, when I called, the first time when I called, I was a voice, I go Pacific Coast Sports. At that time it was called Pacific Coast Sports, and they go, yes, it's... who was it? I think his name was Roland Alexander at the time. I didn't know it at the time, Mm-hmm. I go, yes, Roland, this is Max, and I saw your commercial on Monday Night Raw. Mm-hmm. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, would you like to, I would like to get more information on the school, So, okay, he goes, can you come down, on, let's say next week? I go, sure. So he gave me the address, and I wrote it down, and believe me, man, all week I was excited. I was really fired up because I'm going to go to a wrestling school and see. I was so fired up that I even ran in, to tell my parents, Mom, Dad, and I told them what I wanted to do. And
how old were you at the time?
Oh, God, this must have been I started late, actually probably late 20s, early 30s.
Okay.
That's kind of late already, for a wrestler, or you want to wrestle.
Well, you got DDP. He got into business way later.
Okay,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I remember I told my folks and this and that, and I went over there. I drove over there to Hayward, and I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I see a limousine pull up, and I'm seeing, and I go, oh my gosh, it's Dancing Rick Thompson. And then after, Playboy Buddy Rose. Mm-hmm. And, I was in awe because I saw him on TV, this actually, I'm going to meet him. So I actually waited a little bit. I go in there and I ring the doorbell, and, they opened it, and, time I didn't know it was Roland. He goes, Max? I go, Roland? Oh, yes. How you doing? Shook his hand, come on in. And he goes, so, you love pro wrestling? I go, yes, sir. And he goes, well, in this business, in this career, you have to love it to be in it. Mm-hmm. You can't I want to do it, or you like it, or this and that. You have to love it. And and then he sat down and he talked to me. So he wanted to see what my knowledge was. So I mentioned, all the time, big time wrestling. I used to watch it. I mentioned some of the wrestlers.
The Roy Shires promotion.
Yeah, Roy Shires promotion. Mm-hmm. And I told him all about that, the wrestlers. And he goes, you're pretty knowledgeable. Mm-hmm. See, that's one of the things. He goes, you have to learn your trade or know at least what you know.
Yeah.
what you want to do,
Yeah, exactly.
He goes, that's a good start. Okay, so we kept talking this and that. Then he mentioned the price, and I told him I did have a job. But he goes, we'll break that later. He goes, well, I'll give you a tour of the school. So we went in there,
This is in the Cabot.
Cabot, right? In Hayward, the wrestling school. So we go in there and we finally come through the door and I see the ring. It was something like amazing, And he goes, go ahead, climb on in. So I climbed in and he goes, leaning against the ropes, Max. So, I started leaning against the ropes. I go, in my mind, I was going, man, I can't believe it. Because very rarely people don't have a chance to get into a wrestling ring or a boxing ring.
Yeah.
So we came back down and we discussed, the money situation. And he goes, okay. But before all that, he gave me all the rundown that first I needed to go to the doctor to take a physical.
Okay.
I needed a doctor's note because, it's very strenuous, so he wanted us to have everybody that came and applied after that wanted to, and you wanted to do it first, you had to go to the doctor.
Okay.
For, for your health.
I don't even know if that's even a common thing anymore.
I don't know, but back then it was because they wanted to see, they wanted to make sure you were in good shape, no health issue problems.
Yeah.
So I went to my doctor. I told him what I was going to do. And he goes, you got to be kidding me, Max. Really? I go, no, doc. I go, this is what I want to do. Yeah. So he gave me all the tests, and everything. And I got it. And I brought the note back to Roland. And he goes, okay, very good. And, okay, this is what we're going to do. You're going to start this and that, And I had the money with me. I was working at that time, at the Winchester Mystery House.
Okay.
But then, of course, my dad helped me a little bit, You know how parents are. They want to help out their kids.
Yeah.
So I went there and I remember my first day, it's basic stuff, at that time too, Buddy was there. And of course, Dancing Rick Thompson. And
now, did you want to, sorry to interrupt, Did you want to be a wrestler or did you have in mind that you wanted to be a referee?
No, first I wanted to be a wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe later Jim Gorman came on board. Okay.
Gentleman Jim Gorman,
yes. And we started, showing how to roll the bumps. But as time went on, I felt, my lower back, my left ankle. Because at that time, the canvas, the mat, it was just plywood, a piece of carpet, and the mat, the tarp.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So that was taking, it got a toll on me. So I was bummed out, and I was watching, because even though you weren't participating, you were coming to watch, the practice of the guys, So after that, I went up to Roland, and I told him, I go, Roland, I really don't think I can do this. And I remember he told Max, it takes a lot of guts for you to come up and say that you can't do it. But he goes, I think you're a good individual. And at that time it was like $3,000, the down payment. He goes, I really don't want to lose you. But he goes, if you want to try reffing, because he goes, you reffed soccer matches, right? I did ref, I was a referee in soccer, the kids and then the adult leagues. He goes, I'm willing to apply those $3,000 to your referee.
Okay.
To your camp, to your ref camp. Because really, he goes, I really don't want to lose you because I think you are, I think you'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
At being a ref. I go, okay, so I healed a little bit and then he started showing me, the pointers, how to ref. Of course, I had a lot of help from Rick, Roland, and later Michael Modest when he came on board,
Okay.
Buddy a little bit too,
Was there anyone else in your group as training as a ref? Or?
I was the only one.
Okay.
Because everybody wanted to wrestle. Nobody wanted to, be a ref or anything.
Yeah.
So I trained. I happened to be I was the first referee to
graduate from
graduate from APW.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the first one.
Okay. Were they running shows at this time, or were they still just training?
No, we were just in training.
Yeah.
Everybody was training, And then, we started like having matches, like in there. Like one of the matches, inside the gym. This is before it was a practice. It was Michael Myers against Mike Diamond. I don't remember Mike Diamond.
Max Justice.
Yeah, Max Justice. Yeah. So we started, practicing there, and me still being being new to the trade and this and that. I remember when Modest got Diamond, to the back of the ropes, and I'm making the count, 1, 2. And then, I broke the hold, and Mike goes, hey, Max, what do you think you're doing? He goes, hey, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, okay? And I remember he said, and I went, oh, take it easy, Mike. I didn't mean it,
Yeah,
but he was just ribbing me, joking with it,
Yeah.
I didn't know that, I thought he meant it because he looked really mad.
Yeah.
But see, that's what happens when you weren't, smarten up, or what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so he finally, like that. So one day...
This was during the training, you said, right?
The training, yeah. This was when we were training. And then as time went on, then one time they called me into the office, and then I remember it was Rick there, Roland, and Mike. They say, well, I think it's time to smarten Max up. I go, smarten me? I go, what do you mean? I didn't, I'm smart. To a certain point to know, stuff, but it was smarten up to the business. In other words, the inner workings of the business.
Yeah.
So now I started to understand. And then they started, because they were old school. They were back, that was old school. Today, everything is exposed.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything is exposed. Back then, it was, kayfabe.
Yeah.
Now.
I remember when I started coming around, I heard the word kayfabe all the time. And I'm like, why do they keep saying kayfabe every time I walk in the room? It's like, what's going on here? And then, obviously then you figure it out. But it was kind of like, oh, kayfabe. I'm like, oh, my name is Jesus. Why do they keep saying kayfabe, man?
Yeah. So they started smarting me up, and they explained to me how the business worked. But the way they taught me was, the old school way.
Okay.
Like I said today, everything is exposed. All the secrets are out there, the videos.
Yeah.
And everything got exposed already.
Yeah.
It's just like if you're a magician, you don't expose the trick. Yeah. You show the trick to the upcoming musicians because that is the suspense.
Yeah.
That is the suspense. And that's what it was back then, is the believability, the credibility of that it was, real.
Yeah.
But now we know that it's not.
Yeah.
But it is physical.
Yes. Of course.
I still nowadays, some of my friends or people that I've talked to that they say, hey, Max, is that fake? I go, what do you mean fake? What are you talking about fake? Well, he goes, all the hits. I go, no. I go, it's real.
Yeah.
I go, well, and then I ask him, tell me what is fake. In your eyes, when you say it, what's fake?
Yeah.
And they're like, they don't know what to say. And then I tell them, look, the chops are real.
Yeah.
The throwing around is real. Yeah. You getting thrown out of the ring, getting hit with a chair. I go, how are you going to tell me that's fake?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
I go, you don't understand the business. I go, you're a fan.
Yeah.
But, you always have to protect, back then you protected the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
We watched our backs,
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what you did. So, and I told him, I go, look, if it's fake, you think it's fake, I go, come on down to the school with me, even though I was a ref. And I kind of remember a little bit of my training, which I did. I go, let me chop you down. Take off your shirt. Let me hit you. Let me put my handprint on your chest, and you tell me that's fake.
Yeah.
And they go, no, that's fine. Okay, then. See.
Do you? What was your first match that you reffed, and how was it? Like, were you nervous going into this is your first pro match?
It was 1996. It was at the Civic Auditorium, downtown San Jose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there was two Rich Roland's friend, the referee. He was from San Diego. Rich oh God, I forgot what Rich's last name is, but he was there. But my Rich, God, I can't remember his name.
It'll probably come out.
Yeah. Okay, so Yeah, he was. They was very nice with me.
Yeah.
And the match I ref, it was the main event. It was Michael Modest against Max Justice. But at that time, Justice was known as Mike Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was. We were all making our debut. Yeah. So,
was this for Father's Day Bash?
Father's Day.
JR Benson?
It was Father's Day's Bash.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the poster somewhere in storage. I couldn't find it. It was Father's Day's Bash.
Okay.
And I brought my parents, my mother, my father, and I remember being in the back. I was nervous. Mm-hmm. I had butterflies. I'm not going to deny it. Anybody that tells you that doesn't have butterflies, they're lying to you. Just like when I played my first gig in the band, I was nervous as heck because you practice so hard and then all of a sudden you're going to goof up and mess up.
Yeah.
You have to relax. So I remember in the back, Modest, being the more veteran experience.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, Max, look, just relax, calm down, everything's going to be fine."
Yeah.
He goes, "We're going to do the same match that we did, because they practiced it, in the gym, the match that we're going to do."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Look, just relax. We're going to do the same match." Mm-hmm. Okay, just relax. Just relax, So I came out and I remember, I still felt a little bit, but there was people there and that was my first time out in the ring, with the lights underneath.
And that's a great venue. If anybody has never seen it, it's a really nice venue.
Yeah, I used to go there when I was a kid to see big time wrestling, I used to see Pat Patterson, Ray Stevens, Peter Mavia, The Brute, the Masked Interns, Kurt and Carl Von Bronner.
Okay.
And then one time there was Smokey the Wrestling Bear. I remember when I was a kid, I actually got in line where the men were the adults because in intermission, they would bring the bear in there, Smokey. And he would wrestle men from the audience for 2-3 minutes. But the trainer was there. Mm-hmm. He had a muzzle on and he had his claws, with something. Yeah. So I remember I got in line and then when I was there and the usher told me, he goes, "I'm sorry, son, but you're too young." It was only for the men adults,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so big time wrestling at that time was big,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's who I grew up watching, all those guys. Rocky Johnson, and some of the greats, that I watched when I was a kid, some have passed on already.
Yeah.
Just like recently, we lost our Road Warrior Animal.
Yeah.
I saw that he passed away, Yeah. It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were, got your training at APW, and then once APW started running shows, you guys went all over the place. But you also, that's when the birth of Gym Wars started,
right?
And so tell us your experience with Gym Wars, because I'm pretty sure you reffed a lot of matches during that time.
Oh,
how was the atmosphere with the crowd and the wrestlers during that time?
It was pretty exciting. We had to go out there and do our best and perform, but just having a live crowd there, because in the gym, when you were practicing, it's all quiet and silence. The crowd, gives it a lot, gives it a boost.
Yes.
You hear the cheering. Of course, they cheer for their favorite wrestler. They boo against their wrestler they hate. And always the referee's the villain. I was always the villain.
Yeah.
I was always the villain because, it's always the ref's fault. You look at Major League Baseball, the umpire. NFL football, the officials, the referee.
Yeah.
So in other words, soccer too. Anything with the ref, it's
their fault.
It's their fault. It's their fault, But of course, it's different pro wrestling to major sports,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were some of your favorite matches of reffing from the Gym Wars era?
There's so many. I remember I did the hardcore match between Vic Grimes and Aaron O'Grady, Leprechaun, Crash Holly.
Yeah.
But at that time, he was Aaron O'Grady, still. Robert Thompson, good old Robert. Just so many. Jesus, it's kind of hard to really...
To pinpoint one?
Yeah.
Now, going back to the Aaron O'Grady, Vic Grimes match, the hardcore match, have you ever felt unsafe? Not unsafe, but have you ever feared for your safety during a match, like when it came to like a Vic Grimes match, like, oh man, I better move because otherwise I'm gonna...
Well, it was between them. I would always stay out of the way. Mm-hmm. fear for my safety, no, because I know they weren't going to hurt me or something was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I just watched out, for, an injury, like maybe a twisted leg or your knee or, whatever. Yeah. But otherwise, no, I never feared for my safety. Okay. I just watched out for, make sure they were okay. I feared for their safety because some of the things that they used to do,
yeah,
it really scared me.
The whole car,
the car with the window and the door. There were times when I would cringe inside myself. I say to myself, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah.
But that's what they wanted to do. So it was. So I was worried at times. Don't get me wrong. I was concerned for their safety. Yeah. Even one time, Robert, with the trash can, and then what do you have? The chair and I think the radio. He bashed somebody in the head with a radio. Oh, damn. One of the radios that I used to use. Yeah.
Like the old school boombox type?
Yeah, the radio, bam. Yeah. I go, oh my gosh. And then the other part was when they were going to juice,
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one time it was Murdoch, and against somebody. And at that time, it was the Blade, you know. So I remember went to it and I made the mistake of putting it in my left pocket. Okay, I made the mistake. Yeah. And because later I was going to, slide him the blade, Yeah. So that one time when I went to make a count, 1, 2, because I'm right-handed lean to my left and, I put on the left side and it poked me right here on the side. So I had to get up. I go, oh my gosh. So I kind of suspiciously took it and, planted to my right side, Yeah. And
so you gigged, but nobody else saw, but you gigged.
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't gig, but Frank did after, when I gave it to
you. You just landed on it.
Yeah, I just landed. It just poked me, so that I totally forgot, But, as time went on, before all that, I was learning the trade.
Yeah.
How to work. You have to learn how to work. Yeah. Even though you're the ref, really the wrestlers are the stars.
Yeah.
And it's a three-way dance. The referee, for me in my case, I'm sure for all refs too, I would watch out for their safety. Yeah. I wanted to make sure that they were okay. I kind of had a rule with them that if, I told them in the back before we used to come out, I go, guys, look, I'm going to ask you if you're okay. If you don't respond to me that you're okay, that you don't not, I go, I'm going to go on the assumption that you're hurt and I'm going to stop the match.
Yeah.
Because, I go, you guys got to let me know.
Yeah.
Sometimes one that was really good at selling was Jardy France.
Okay.
Jardy. He would do rock, whatever, And then I would ask him, like I see him do a Devastator or whatever, he'd be rocking like this and that. And I go close and check it. Hey, France, you're all right? I go, Jardy, you okay? He goes, yeah, Max. So, real...
Yeah.
Whisperly, so like that. See, even though he was selling like that, I knew that he was okay.
Yeah.
But if you didn't respond to me, I was gonna go on the assumption that you were hurt.
Have you ever had to stop a match because of that?
That I recall. Let me see. Let me try to think. You know what? I can't. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
But you just had it in your mind that if something were to happen.
Yeah, in your mind. Yeah.
Now, sometimes refs have to take bumps or are involved in the match.
Correct.
Can you tell us about an instance where you, one of your favorite times that you actually had to be a part of the match? Well, there were several, but it was mainly like a main event or something climactic. Because or the guys, you couldn't do that all the time. Because, it's boring. You have to build up the climax to because if you did it all the time, each show, it gets boring. Yeah.
So you got to find the right moment to do it, Yeah, I got thrown out a couple of times to the middle rope and I was kicked, so. But really, that's about it, really, not. Or one time, Justice, choke slammed me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this was at Mount Pleasant. Yeah. It was a match. I mean, it was just too much. At that time, the computer in my head,
Yeah.
You're going to do this, you're going to do that. So part of it was my fault because I lost track of it because the finish was I was going to low blow Justice,
Yeah.
And he was going to go down. They were going to do something to him. Forgot who was wrestling. But when I did it, he didn't acknowledge it, that it was coming, and that looked bad.
Yeah.
I have to say, because I messed up, I own up to it.
Yeah.
So we did it again, this and that, and finally, it was coming. So I finally did it, and he's selling it, blah, blah, blah. And 1, 2, 3, he lost, and he gets up, and, he's pissed, So he picks me up and, choke slams me.
Yeah.
But I forgot to tuck in my head. And I hit the back of my head, Jesus, and I saw stars.
Yeah.
I saw stars. That was my fault because all he did was when he picked. See, I'm really taking the bump. He's just guiding me.
Yeah.
Right. He's just guiding you. But it was my fault for not tucking my head in, and kaboink. Yeah. It was terrible. So I remember we go back into the locker room, and I'm all shaking, and he was upset.
Yeah.
Because. Everything. I remember he cussed and swore at me.
Yeah.
And I got mad too, and I was disappointed. And then as the evening went on, he came back and he goes, "Hey Max, look, I apologize. If I blew my. That's okay, Mike." I go, it's that moment, Jesus. Where it's just frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can get mad with somebody. It could be your best friend, but it's all emotion.
Yeah.
You let out your emotion, and once you let out your emotion, everything's okay.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine after. It's part of it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Max Justice, I'm thinking about right now where you just said that he kind of lost his cool. I'm thinking about the scene from Beyond the Mat.
Okay.
So, were you there when they were filming Beyond the Mat?
No, I was not there.
Oh, you weren't
there?
No,
I was not there.
So, did you take a break at that time, or...?
I was, what year was that?
Oh, 99 maybe, around there? 2000?
Okay, no, I was out of the picture a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I was hurt, or what did I do? I started working.
Okay.
And I got away, a little bit from it. And then I joined the band,
Mm-hmm.
because then my work was starting to take my time,
Okay.
Yeah, and I couldn't, go so much.
Yeah.
So.
So that time, it was, I guess you could say, a controversial time during the King of Indies, because that's when the split happened with Pro Wrestling Iron and Modest and Donovan and Frank Murdoch and, Vinny and everyone went
their separate ways.
Their separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
How was the atmosphere then? Because you were, you're kind of stuck. You have half your friends leaving, and then the other half are still on APW. What made you decide to stay with APW, or were you even approached to go to Pro Wrestling Iron?
Well, at that time, Jesus, it was tough because, I knew all the guys back then. Half, like Mike, was one of my instructors. He taught me.
Yeah.
And I really don't understand or what happened between them and Roland. I don't know. Like I said, Roland, God rest his soul. Mm-hmm. He gave me my first break. And I felt at the time that, I should have been loyal to APW because that's where I started.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I started. I considered APW my home.
Yeah.
Because that's where I started. And I would talk to Mike, he would call me. And they would actually wanted me to come and do, ref. If I wanted to ref, some of their shows, matches, So out of courtesy, I go, well, Mike, I go, why don't you ask Roland,
Yeah.
If it's okay, or I'll ask him,
Yeah.
But I don't know, something happened there that I wasn't able to go, and to ref,
Yeah.
Because I felt that if I did it, I feel like I'd be betraying, because see, no matter what, I always like to ask first.
No, of course.
Yeah, I like to ask,
Yeah.
Just to make sure. I don't like to do stuff behind people's back. I'd rather come and ask you, do you mind or is it okay?
Yeah.
Because see, I was the guy in the middle. I had my friends at APW, the remaining guys, and then all the other guys went to Iron.
Yeah.
But I did go to see some Iron shows.
Yeah. I remember seeing you.
Yeah, I was there and, at ringside, seeing...
I remember I asked you when I did my first show in 2003 if you could ref, and at the time I had some heat with APW as well, and then so they should have said no. you can't work for Jesus. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I think so,
asked you, I wanted you to ref my first show, but you were there. You were there, and I remember Joe Applebaumer, after his match, he was walking, starts walking, then he sees you in the crowd, and he points at you, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing here? Kind of like, are you a spy? And Joe wasn't even part of APW anymore.
Right.
But he was just like, I have the clip, like he's just pointing you out and singling you out. Yeah.
But, I went there because I wanted to watch Jesus.
Yeah. And Crash was there when he just got released.
Yeah. I was there, I went to watch.
Did you get a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, after hello, I say hello to him. But, me watching, knowing already what it was like, I know because I sat there at ringside and, other people, the fans are screaming.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be like, even though I was in the business, I know, I don't want to, mark out.
Yeah.
You don't want to, I didn't want to do that, like act like a fan, because I already know what was going on, because I respected the business, and respected the guys.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know, if it probably look bad, if you're doing and you're acting like a fan, all tonto, menso, whatever, But it was fun,
Yeah.
it was interesting watching the guys.
So did you ever work anywhere else other than APW? As far as, obviously APW was your main promotion, but did you ever venture out? Did you ever do like Lucha Libre shows or anything like that?
Yeah, when they brought the Mexican guys in, from Mexico, AAA, is it AAA or EML? Mm-hmm. I was there, they brought, the Blue Demon, Santo.
Yeah.
But I refed only our guys, from the show.
Okay.
And they had, what was it? El Indio, I think the referee.
Indio Mendoza?
Or something like that. Yeah, the ref, with the long hair.
Yeah.
He did
He's made many appearances on this podcast.
Okay. Well, he did the matches.
Yeah.
But at that time, when I used to watch Jesus Lucha, it was totally different. Lucha Libre Mexicana is different to American, U.S.
Yeah.
Over there, the guys, if it's a tag match, they can come in whenever, and
it's more lawless.
Yeah, it's more lawless. Yeah, so but they have their ways of doing things, and I was thinking, I go, if I have to ref one of these matches, what am I going to do? Because I wasn't familiar, with the style how it worked.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it a couple of times, when I used to watch it. The illegal guy comes in and makes the pin, and the referee will count 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Or the other guy, come and sit on top of him,
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes they have two refs.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it was a babyface ref and a heel ref. Yeah. And it's always like 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a different Lucha Libre Mexicana. It's a different style to the U.S. or Japan.
So you didn't get to do a lot of it.
Not that much.
Oh, okay.
I, not really with like major guys like that, but never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were, like you said, Pro Wrestling Iron split off, but you were there to see a new breed of students come out, like Sarah Del Rey, Melissa, Bobby Quans,
Correct,
Choi, you just showed
James
me a
Choi,
picture of
James Choi,
guys like that. So how was it during that era? Like, after all these guys like Modest and Vinny and those guys that were there forever, but now working with this new group of students.
Well, it was different because now you have to have different trainers, different guys that come in, too. I think Robert Thompson was still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert, well, he became one of the instructors.
Yeah.
Vinny became one of the instructors. I think Vinny. Did Vinny leave for Iron also? I'm trying to remember.
Vinny left later. But eventually he left, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was him, and the trainers, Robert. And, God, I can't think of really anybody else that stayed there. And
yeah, I know. Well, Boyce was kind of in and out of the business.
Right.
Who else was that stayed? Jardy. No, Jardy worked with Iron.
Right.
But then I think Jardy came back and worked with APW
I don't know if Victor. Cafu.
No, he stayed at APW.
Yeah, okay, he's there, and then we had the brothers, the Cole brothers.
Is it
Chris Cole? Chris Cole.
And I forgot the other guy's name.
Bill
Cole?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And then after some of them, it started becoming the instructors, you know, because... But as time went on later, I kind of like drifted away, and some of the things I didn't see anymore because it was I left because I had other priorities to do in life.
Yeah.
I mean, my goal was to make it.
Yeah.
To the big time. We all dream about that, Jesus.
Yeah. So your goal was to the one of the big three at the time.
Yeah, at the time, yeah. But unfortunately, fate didn't. I mean, I'm proud of a lot of our guys that made it big.
Yeah.
Crash, Mike, God rest his soul. Mark Smith, Bison Smith. Too, God rest his soul. Yeah. A lot of our guys, that went. I'm glad they made it big.
Yeah.
Even Matt Heisen.
Yeah.
He became Spike Dudley,
Yeah.
Good guy, Matt,
Yeah.
I think he's somewhere out in the East Coast now somewhere.
Yeah, I believe so.
He works for Prudential or something like that.
No, you got to work with a lot of talent. Did you ever work with, because then Gabe Ramirez from APW started Pro Wrestling Revolution. Did you ever work for him? Or were you not in the business at that time?
No, I was. I think I helped him only one time. Okay. That's about it. Oh, and another instructor that came on board that was with us was the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was one of our instructors also,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he trained there too, some of the guys.
Did you get to train anybody? Did you get to train any refs that were coming at the
time? When I was starting, because I was the only guys that wanted to come in was Vinny. I trained him. Mm-hmm. Tom Castor.
Yep.
Tom, I know he's in the NXT now.
Yep.
I'm proud of Tom. Where he's at.
Yeah.
I saw that one clip where I follow it, Jesus, now and then, to see what's going on in the news. But I remember that I think Tom broke his leg.
Yep.
And he made the count, while he had his broken leg.
Yeah.
So, I'm proud of Tom, and I hope one day he makes it to the main roster.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah, no, he's very, very talented.
Yeah. Choi was reffing too for a while.
That's
but
right.
he wanted to, he wanted to wrestle. He was basically going to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Vinny wanted to wrestle too. They became a lot of guys. But I think after I left, Spanky came in.
Okay.
Yeah, and kind of took over the role, I was gone by then. But all the other guys, all the guys that made it big, I'm proud of them,
Yeah.
The Leap made it to WWE,
The movie star too.
The movie star.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. I don't know whatever happened to the guys from Pro Wrestling Gorilla. Remember the guys that used to come down from Southern?
Yeah, like Super Dragon,
Yeah,
Disco.
Danny, Disco, Cholo.
Mm-hmm.
I ripped Cholo. I don't know if you remember that.
You what?
I used to rip him a lot.
No. Like, in what way?
Well, one time when they used to come up from LA right over here, and then sometimes we go over there, right?
Yeah.
So Cholo with Efren, he would come down, and one time what he did was, what I did to him was, remember the little homies? Mm-hmm. The little homies, right?
The little dolls.
Yeah, like right eye, left eye.
Vinny and Vic Grimes collect them, or we used to collect them.
Oh, yeah. Well, even was like, Gordo, the chef, they had all these names.
Yeah.
So I put them in my pocket. So whenever I would check them, Cholo, Efren, it's like a cop, he would, instead of checking he would like pause me like this, then he turned around and put his hands, behind, like a frisk, right? When the cops arrest you.
Yeah.
So I'm over there checking them. So as I get low, I pull out the little homies, out of my pocket, and I put it like that. I go, hey, what's this, Cholo? And he didn't know. He goes, what is it? So I put them in the palm of my hand like this. I go, hey, look, it's the homies. I go, what is this? Why you can't have them assisting you? What you bring him for? And he awesome. I got him good,
Yeah.
I got him good, and everybody laughed.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
He kind of knew about that, and the next time he came up again, when we did a show, I think it was a month later when they came up again, we were in the back. He goes, Max, what do you got? I go, what do you mean, Efren? He goes, what do you... No, I'm going, nothing, bro. I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
So, again, here I come with the thing. So this time I had a jalapeno, a chile. I had a jalapeno.
Nice.
But before we came out in the back, when he was going to come up to the curtain, I'm standing there with him, and he's frisking me. He goes, Max, what do you got? I go, look, nothing, man. So he's frisking me like this, over here, look, I go, I got nothing.
Yeah.
So once he went out, then that's when I went to grab the chile, the jalapeno.
Yeah.
So he comes again, and he does the same deal, you know. And then once I get it, I get, hey, what's this? So I pull out, you know, the jalapeno.
Yeah.
You know, the chili. I go, hey, you can't have this, you know. Okay, so the mistake I made was after, because I touched it, right?
Oh, man, I can already see where this is going.
For some reason, you know, with the sweat, I rubbed my eye.
It backfired on you.
It backfired. Oh, my eye was burning. It backfired on me.
Now you really have a blind ref. You know, people like to yell, you can't see, you know.
Yeah.
Any other stories like that? Any other ribs that you've done on other workers?
Oh, God. I can tell you so many. You know, but I think those were some of the highlights, or especially when we went to L.A. for when World Collides.
Oh, did you work that, or did you just want to go see?
No, I actually went, you know, because that one time, you know, I think Mike and Mike got booked as La Migra. Mm. Okay.
I know Super Diablo was supposed to have a match too.
Yeah, I think he was going to be in a dark match.
He was going to wrestle Al Snow.
Al Snow, yeah. So we went over to that pay-per-view, you know. It was a pay-per-view, I believe. Yeah. But I went, you know, because the guys that was going to wrestle, it was going to be La Migra, Mike and Mike. Mm-hmm. They were the heels. Against, it was Matt Heisen under a mask. He was known as El Mexicano Blanco. Mm-hmm. And who else was his partner? Oh, gosh.
Was it another APW guy?
Yeah. It was more the APW guys. Yeah, I you know, we have to find the footage and go back. Yeah. But I went, you know, I was like the translator for La Migra. Mm-hmm. You know, I was known as, you know, I called myself Pancho Gonzalez, you know. So I remember that day, you know, that when we were going to do it, you know, we were fired up, you know. And, well, there were, you know, well, the thing was I was going to be in the audience and they were going to yank me out. Mm-hmm. Right. But it changed plans. So I was in the back with Mike. Mm-hmm. So I remember, I think I went out to the back, you know, it was raining. So there was some mud there. I put it on me to make it look like I was an illegal immigrant, you know, where they just grabbed me, you know. So I'm coming out, you know, they're finally going to announce La Migra, right? So here comes, you know, Mike, you know, Diamond, you know, you know, Justice, you know, like he's dragging me through the curtain, you know. So we come out and he's got me by my ear and he's pulling me by my ear. He's squeezing it hard. And I remember going, you know, Mike, take it easy. He goes, sorry, brother. So, you know, he starts scanning the crowd, right? The people at ringside. You know, it's all Mexican people. Yeah. And, you know, I'm doing like this, you know, like my ears irking. I go, hey, Mike, there's a fat guy there. I go, call him Panzón. So Mike goes over there and calls, hey, Panzón, you know. So I was feeding them words, you know, man. Even though I was doing my shtick, you know. Yeah. So I'm there, you know, they tell me, you stand right here, you know, and I'm acting like, you know, like. Yeah. So I'm actually cheering against, you know, for the baby, which was Matt, and I forgot who it was. He was with the mask, and Mexicano Blanco, you know. But I was cheering for him, and every time I did that, Mike said, hey, knock it off. Yeah. You know, quit. And I would, like, back off, you know. And then finally they got over it. I think that's where Justice tore his bicep on his arm, you know, Big Mike, you know. And he couldn't, like, you know, really work because I think he tore his bicep. Yeah. And they finally won. So he finally drags me in, you know, he grabs me and throws me in there. And Mike Modest, you know, gives me the mic. He'll tell these people, you know, this and that. So I spoke in Spanish. I told him my name was Pancho Gonzalez. And La Migra says he wants everybody out of here, you know. And they all boo on him, you know. They boo. They boo him, you know. And I was like the translator, you know, for them. So that's what I did, you know. I mean, they booed him, you know. I said, dice La Migra que no se van todos, you know, this and that, you know. And then I would say something else, and they say, what did you say? I go, nada, you know. Yeah. So we walk, you know, we finally go back, and I mean, they pelted them, you know, with nachos or whatever, you know, they got all doused.
They did their job, man.
Yeah, they did their job. So we go to the curtain, I go, oh, man. This was a rough crowd, man.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Speaking of rough crowds, what is the craziest fan interaction that you've seen? You know, like, for example, has a fan ever tried to get in the ring while you guys were working in there, or or legitimately want to hurt another wrestler or yourself? What's the craziest fan interaction that you've?
Well, it was mostly the fans, when if you were the heel, that they were outside, by the railing, but there was security there. But really, nobody wanted to really to get hurt, Yeah. And one of the things I remember was whenever we used to go, Mo, Super Diablo, he would bring all his family, to the matches,
Yeah.
And I would meet him, I remember his grandmother, his mom, his family. I call Yolanda, his wife, my cousin, because she had the same last name as me, Marquez,
Okay.
Yeah. So every time we would ref, I would ref Mo, Super Diablo. And, there were certain things, well, first of all, after, I didn't know that Mo didn't smarten up his
family.
Yeah. They thought it was real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they would get mad.
Yeah.
They would really get mad. And I remember one time, I think his grandmother, she really, La Señora got mad at me.
Yeah.
But I had to, make it look, for them, the heel, the cheat, for him to get beat up.
Yeah.
And, I remember his family say, God dang, man,
yeah.
pendejo, ref, you're so stupid, but I thought, they were, doing it, but once I found out that, I asked Mo, I go, hey, Mo, I remember once, I go, your family. He goes, Max, I've never told them anything. Oh, man. I go, because they hate me.
Yeah.
I go, they really hate me.
Yeah.
And I remember one time when we were finished with the show, lifting that, I go, I walked by your family, I think it was your grandmother. I go, she was still mad at me. ¿Por qué? Why didn't you do this? They did that to,
Yeah.
But I didn't say, I go, Señora, I'm just doing my job,
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see, it is menso, no ves, She told me that.
Man, I've seen so many matches with Super Diablo's uncle, Danny Garcia.
Yes.
Also brings, all the family in, and I felt bad for Shane Cody because they were literally beating the shit out of Shane Cody.
Okay.
I think one of the ladies had one of her tacones that was trying to get, to Rex.
Yeah.
And it's like the family never smartened up the family, but it was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Yeah. I ref too, I think for Kurt, big time wrestling.
Oh yeah, you got to do some big time wrestling.
Yeah,
shows.
but then after I went, just to watch.
Yeah.
To watch the guys,
Yeah. Talk to us about your induction to the Norcal Hall of Fame. What year was it?
Oh
and
gosh.
How did you feel about receiving that honor?
It was great, I didn't expect it, when they told me about it, and I think Manny Fernandez was there too.
Okay.
And some other folks are there, people, but it was just, something else. And of course, I got inducted into the APW Hall of Fame,
Okay.
Yeah, I have my plaque,
Okay.
And
what year was that?
I think 2003.
2003. Okay.
Yeah. It's there, I think that's what it says, 2002 or 3, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was, I was the first ref, to be inducted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the first APW ref.
Yeah, and at that time, Jesus, I was the only ref. I was reffing 7 matches.
Yeah.
I was towards the end, I was getting tired, but during all that time, I did my exercise. When I went to the gym, I would go out, warm up on the bike, and I would do my laps, my running around. Mm-hmm. I would do a little bit of weights.
Okay.
While the guys did their training.
We're going, yeah.
Yeah.
Doing these interviews, I got to talk to a lot of people. I got to talk to Super Diablo.
Yeah.
Got to talk to Michael Modest. I went up to visit him up in Reading area. And yeah,
he lives here now, right?
Yeah, he's in California.
Because he was in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
He lived okay. He moved.
I moved to Vegas too with him, and I met up with him a couple of times when he was working with the promotion out there.
I spoke to him, and he said, I think he's done, right?
No.
He said he wasn't training no more.
He's not training right now, but
okay.
I'm pretty sure if the opportunity presented itself, he would take it. So being in wrestling, working shows in little towns everywhere, you do a lot of traveling. Can you tell us one of your favorite road stories that you've had? On the way to a show, or
Oh yeah,
if you're riding with somebody.
Yeah. Well, at that time, Roland rented a van, and it was myself. I drove, Justice with Diamond, Rosano.
Steve on
Yeah, Bill and Willie, the Cole, and it was Super Bowl weekend. We had a show over there, and Newhall, right? And it was a Super Bowl. Oh, and Boom Boom Kamini.
Okay.
All right. So we went to the show, and we wanted to, I was tired. We thought we were going to spend the night, but it turns out that Boom Boom, the guys, they wanted to come back. Oh, and Ramon too was in the van. Okay, and they wanted to come back. I go, come on, guys, we're tired. No, he goes, man, we gotta go back. It's Super Bowl. Super Bowl, baby. So here we come, driving all night, coming back. Coming back. And I think one of the funniest thing was when I was tired, so Ramon, Chicano Flame, he goes, Max, I'll drive for a bit. So, I fell asleep for a little bit, but, for a little bit. And then I wake up and, I look, I see Ramon, he's like this driving. Then I look up at the sign and said, Phoenix, Arizona. I go, wait a minute.
What?
It's going to go the wrong way.
Oh, man.
I go, Ramon, no. I go, how did you get off the 5? He goes, Max, I just went straight.
Oh, man.
We took a, different.
Yeah.
I go, no, I'll take over. So we finally, reversed it, Yeah. So here we come back, and God, we didn't get home till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
And we were all sleepy, tired, we had to come back. We drove all the way back.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to watch the Super Bowl, man.
Well, you're almost watching in Arizona.
We were still in California, but you just see almost the sign. Yeah, getting.
Oh, man.
That was great.
Just kind of winding down a little bit now. What are some of the things that you found disappointing from the business? Like, from when you started to now, what are some of the things that you found disappointing?
Disappointing? Okay, like I said, I've watched, a couple of the wrestling, going on nowadays. And I think it has to do, I know I didn't train to be a wrestler. Well, I tried, but I wasn't an instructor. But from being a ref and working around, watching how people worked, I was kind of able to pick up, some of the little things.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's old school, the way Roland taught me, You have to look like a professional wrestler. You have to look what you're doing in there, your holds, your moves. You got to look credible.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when I remember going for training, the headlock. I see a lot of guys, or some, they have the headlock, but they got their left foot in front and the right, to the back. It doesn't, to me, that doesn't look right because there's no leverage there. It's more if you put your, right leg back and then you're doing this, I mean, like when I watch some of the old matches, like one of the greats to me, the great wrestler, selling wise and just perform, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That gentleman was tremendous. The way he sold everything. Yeah. His body. I think body positioning, you're talking with your body. That's what I see, some of the, you don't see some of the old stuff.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was watching a match between Big Cat Ernie Ladd against Bruno Sammartino. Old school. Okay. Some of the things that Ernie Ladd did, you hardly don't see it anymore. Like I remember he got Bruno and, and he's got him over here. He's choking them as he's talking to the ref, but he's hiding it from the ref,
Yeah.
Really good, I mean, the psychology, I would say for the new students coming up, or wrestlers, watch old matches and, because the psychology is very important. Yeah. I remember one time when Roland, he quizzed me. He goes, Max, what makes a wrestling match? What makes a good wrestling match? And at the time I didn't know, but then he explained it to me. Now I can say it, He goes, what makes a wrestling match is wrestling, heat, and high spots. That's what makes a wrestling match. That's what he told me. And I know that it's changed a lot. A lot of music. The people working. I notice now they get a lot of families. Working now. You got Rey Mysterio's son. Dominic. Yep. He's in there. Yeah. His daughter's in there now. They brought her into the picture. It's changed. Before they never used to bring their families. Into the business. But it's changed a lot. Yeah. Jesus, it's changed dramatically a lot.
Do you have any regrets?
That I wasn't able to wrestle. I really wanted to wrestle. But even though I was a ref, I was still in it. I was inside the ring. Yep. I was doing something that I loved, even though I couldn't, but I was participating in a different way. I mean, I managed for a while too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Who did you manage?
Oh, yeah. Another guy that we had as a ref was Jimmy Rip.
Jimmy Rip.
Yeah, he also...
The Mac Daddy Jimmy Rip.
The Mac Daddy Rip, he ref too, I forgot. So, I mean, I would have to look at the list and go look at everybody. Yeah. And I remember one time when they wanted me, Roland approached me. He goes, Max, you want to manage for a while? Have some fun, get you out of reffing for a little bit. I go... Yeah, I go, you want me to? He goes, yeah, well, why don't you try it? I go, yeah. So he goes, we're going to do a, want to do a heel turn on you. But see, the way they did it, Jesus, was they built it up little by little, in patterns, like the way they built, the feud between Sasha and Bailey. You see how they were milking it almost, more than a year or whatever, they've been, taking it step by step. So we did it, doing it slowly. And I think one was where they, I forgot who it was, somebody tagged me and I got upset and Babyface came and, apologized to me. I go, okay. No problem. All right. So that happened. And then another show, another thing happened again, I got tagged again by the Babyface by accident. And, now I was really to a point where I was now really upset and they called, okay, take it easy, And I said, okay. So then on one, I remember, I think, who was it? Was it Donovan, I think? Or they were Babyface that I did something and, I gave a low blow, and I hit him with something, And that's where it started, And I think I took off my shirt and said, I quit. And then at that moment, Rip comes in, Jimmy. Okay, he comes in. So he's showing me, a lot of cash. But before that happened, let me show you how that happened. I knew it was going to happen, the turn. I was in the back, and they were and I just got paid from work, right? I go, Jimmy, here's my money, use it like you're going to pay me off, because he didn't have money. It was I had $500, $100 bills, but it was I go, remember, brother, you got to give me back my money.
I got to get it back, man.
So he came out and, remember Roland came out, goes, Marquez, what the hell are you doing? This and that. I go, hey, look, I'm tired of it, So here comes Jimmy, comes out and, hey, I need, so he comes out with the money, and he gives it to me, and the payout. So I took a hike. And that's when I became, Cholo Max Marquez. Okay. I joined the Mac Daddy Express. It was him and it was Jimmy and Tony Jones.
Okay.
The shooter.
Yeah.
They were the, the Express,
the Mac Daddy Express.
But I just came out. I hardly didn't say anything. And I remember we did a taping once there in Hayward, with is it Jason? No, it was somebody else. I forgot who it was, but Jason came in after. Dedrich, yeah. So we're doing an interview, and I'm just standing there behind Jimmy and Tony, just with my cholo hat, my glasses, my poncho, just nodding my head like this, and then the gentleman, I forgot who it is, the gentleman that was doing the interview. And then when he finally, pointed to me, Jimmy goes, he looks at me like this, goes, standing behind me from the southern part of Mexico. But we're talking about we're talking about the bad part. when he goes, yeah, even if you have an M16, he goes, you wouldn't go there. The Cholo Max Marquez. And I'm just nodding like this, you know. So the interview went with him, and then all of a sudden Jason runs in, and he goes, sorry, I'm late. He's going like that. And then he goes, he's got $1 bill and he goes, here, Cholo, park my car. He gives me $1,
Yeah.
And I'm just like looking at him, and I'm just wondering what's going on. And then, the interview is going to be over, and the guy says, okay, we want to thank, Mac Daddy, Jimmy Rip, Tony. And then he goes, then the announcer goes, the Chola, Max Marquez. I go, that's Cholo, boy. I went like, I should have said something in Spanish or Chicano, but I went in English. I go, that's Cholo, boy. I pointed to him like that,
Yeah.
I should have said, that's Cholo, but I didn't. I didn't think of that moment, and that was it. But I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
It was fun, man.
So what? Just final question. Like, what? So are you? You're not retired, right? Like you just left because of work, or would you come back and work?
Well, I talked to Gabe sometime last year. Mm-hmm. I used to stop by, by the school. He has it right there on Zanker, the wrestling school. Mm-hmm. I used to stop by there. At that time, I used to work in the evening. I still work at Crown Plaza Hotel, by the way. I've been there 15 years, driver. Mm-hmm. And I used to stop there to see, Gabe and the guys once in a while. And I talked to him once. I told, hey, Gabe, I go, brother, is there any way one day I can have my retirement match? Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, Max, no problem. He goes, we can set it up for you, Yeah. He goes, one of our shows. But the pandemic went down.
Yeah.
And there's nothing going on. So I guess it's kind of on hold right now.
Okay.
But I would really love to have my retirement match.
Yeah.
Once this pandemic gets over, and
that's good to hear, man. Because for a while I was like, whatever happened to Max? Did he retire? Because I thought when you did your induction in the Hall of Fame, the Norcal Hall of Fame, I thought that was it. I thought it was just like a retirement thing. But I'm glad to hear that we'll able to see you in the ring again. So
yeah.
Thank you again for doing this interview, Max.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
You guys just got it on.
Thank you very much.
Notice the COVID fist bump.
Okay.
No hugs or nothing in here. But thank you for watching Indy Handshake.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody.
Marquez, and we'll see you next time.